Hey guys, it's me, RST, and I'm back with another video. Today, I talked about it in my last video, we're going to be going over two different switch axe builds. One is going to be a little bit more utility focused, one of them is going to be pure attack. I put as many attack skills into it as I could while also keeping the, in my opinion, essential switch axe skills. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys like it, I want you to like it. If you dislike it, please dislike it and tell me why so that I can improve on that in the future. If you're liking my videos so far, please subscribe. This next month, as a matter of fact, I should be much more consistent. As I said in my video yesterday, if you didn't see that, first, go check that out. Second, this past week I was a little bit busy. I was spending a lot of time doing homework. This week I've been spending a lot more time helping my parents out, making sure that they've got everything taken care of, things like that. But for the rest of the week, I'm going to try and make sure, if possible, I get out a video every single day. Most of the time, my goal is going to be to not skip 2 days in a row. So if I have 2 video ideas, 2 days in a row, put both of those out. If I don't, that's all right. Take a day off, kind of grind the game a little bit, get some ideas flowing, things like that. But I want you guys to stay tuned because I'm going to be putting out a lot more content for you guys, trying to improve it, things like that. Now, let's get into these two builds. Alright guys, it is time for us to get into the build. I'm going to try and make this one a little bit quicker. We do have about just as much to cover as normal, if not more. But I'm going to try and speed up my talking so I'm not wasting too much of you guys' time, okay? Alright, first, we're going to have two loadouts. First of all, I'm going to show you the attack loadout. So if you look at the skills, we've got level 3 attack boost, level 3 weakness exploit, level 3 speed sharpening, level 3 rapid morph, level 2 critical boost, level 2 razor sharp, level 2 power prolonger, level 2 evade window, level 1 latent power, level 1 stun free, level 1 flinch free. What we're going to use to achieve all of this is, first of all, going over the switch axe. We're going to use the Magnum Hollow switch axe. Now, I will not lie, for this one, I didn't really look at every single switch axe to determine which one is the absolute best. It was more a decision based on, I know that Magnum Hollow weapons are always going to be kind of strong, and I hadn't used one in one of my builds yet, and I had some materials, so I was kind of like, why not, basically. It's going to give us, I believe, 200 attack base, but we have attack boost level 3 for the rampage slot. That's going to give us 8 more. It's got a decent blue. It's got really long green, so you should never really be getting into yellow. Obviously you want to sharpen and maintain blue as much as possible, but it's not going to be that bad. 23 blast element, which is pretty high. That's pretty good. And 0 affinity, so I believe that is its base affinity. I may have 2 levels of critical eye, so maybe -10, but I think it is 0. Something I always look for is I like power file the most. I don't really like the elemental files or whatever the other type is called, so that's why I went with this one. Now, as I'm sure we all remember from the demo, Almudron is the monster that they chose to have the armored weapon for the switch axe for, and I believe it's for a reason. All of these skills that it comes with are really catered to switch axe, charged blade a little bit too, but mainly switch axe. So, first of all, we're going to do the Almudron helm, Almudron mail, Almudron arms, the Scalda Elytra S, which is the special item one from the Argosy, and the Rajang leggings. Okay, so for the head, it comes with Rapid Morph level 2. This is awesome. If we actually take a look, it gives you 20% quicker morph on your switch axe and charge blade, but obviously this is a switch axe build. And the morph damage itself for the attack is going to be 10% more, so that's awesome. Now, we're also going to slot in 2 levels of attack boost for the power/attack build. Second, for the mail, that's going to give us 2 levels of razor sharp and 1 level of power prolonger. This is pretty good. Razor sharp isn't something that I ever go out of the way for, but if it's offered to me, obviously I'm going to use it. Another sharpening skill is never going to be bad. With this combined with our 3 levels of speed sharpening, it's going to be pretty nice. It also gives us 1 level of power prolonger. As I discussed in my power prolonger video, for insect glaive at least, it is not that much of a necessity. However, my opinion on that was based on the fact that you can get your triple buff very quickly. This takes quite a bit longer, and the actual duration is shorter, so I do believe power prolonger would more than likely be worth it for switch axe. And since you get it naturally, that's awesome. We slot in 1 level of speed sharpening, so that's going to make our sharpen 1 swipe quicker. At the end of this, it'll be 1 swipe to go to full sharpness. That's awesome. Next, we've got the Van Braces. This is going to give us Rapid Morph level 1 and Evade Window level 2. So those are both awesome. Rapid Morph again now, this combined with the helm, we've got level 3 Rapid Morph. So that's going to give us 30 speed and 20 attack damage. If you think about both of those stats, that's quite a bit for just a head and an arm that are already pretty good by themselves. as far as slots and everything like that, so that's really nice. We're going to slot in 2 speed sharpening jewels on this, so that's going to go ahead and give us the max speed sharpening right there. So again, that takes it from 4 swipes to 1 swipe. You don't need to eat for feline polish or anything like that. Next, we've got the Scalda Elytra S. This is the waist that gives you 2 levels of weakness exploit. That's all it does, but weakness exploit is so strong. With it being 30% increased affinity for hitting a weak spot, that's very valuable, and that is worth the waist slot in my opinion. If you have a really good talisman, I'm going to talk about this one here in a minute. Mine, I actually just before this video started got one with 2 levels of weakness exploit, so it's effectively the same thing as this waist, but it has no slots, so I couldn't still slot in some of the things I wanted. I decided to go with this instead, still keep the waist. If I ever get a talisman with even a level 2 slot and 2 levels of weakness exploit, then I will never use this waist again, more than likely. I wouldn't see why I would, since the talisman itself would then be better with the same skills and more slots. But we will have to see. For now, we're gonna have to stick to this. Finally, we've got the Rajang leggings. This is kind of a standard, a staple for most builds. If you look, it gives you 2 levels of critical boost, 1 level of latent power, and then we slot in the 2 1 slots a level of flinch free, so that if you're playing with longsword users, you're not going to get tripped up by their attacks. It shouldn't trip you from any other hunter attacks except for maybe a switch skill from the switch axe we're going to talk about here in a minute, and also a level of stun resistance, just because I had 1 more slot, and with me having max level speed sharpening and just 1 level of flinch free is necessary in my opinion, so that's what I went for. Now, as always, we're going to go for Demon Pedale so that you get more damage on your stuff. And we're going to go for the Fatal Tempest Talisman with 1 level of weakness exploit and a level 2 slot. It's pretty good use in a lot of things. So that's going to be our attack build. Now, we're going to look at a very slightly different build. This is going to focus more on making sure that we have max levels of focus so that your actual blade will charge quicker. So, first thing we're going to look at on this, it's the same skills, except for you took 3 points out of attack boost and put those 3 points into focus. The way that we did that is it's the exact same equipment, but you'll see we have 2 focus put into these 2 slots, and for the talisman we're going to put the other focus in the other slot. So this is simply going to make it to where it charges faster. Level 3 is 20% faster gauge fill rate and 15% faster charge time, so that in my opinion is going to be worth it. I like both of these builds pretty equally. I'd say it kind of depends on the monster, how long you think they're going to last, things like that. I think for a longer fight, focus is going to be better because you're going to have your blade up more times, your charge blade. And then if you have a kind of weaker monster you think you'll be able to kill with maybe just 1 charge, then I would probably go for attack. So last thing we're going to do before this video ends is we're going to go over the switch skills. Personally, I change out the first one, the forward slash, which is your draw attack, looks like this, and then you can go into your morph, all those things, go into your regular attacks. It's alright, you know, it's just the standard. I change it out for the forward overhead slash. So this is the new one. So you see you go forward, but the benefit of this is that you get a unique combo or a unique kind of path if you morph after it. So a lot of times what I'll do is if I see a monster and he even slightly moves, I don't love having to do this, but I think it's worth it honestly, is I'll hit him, immediately morph. Rapid morph gives us a lot of damage on it, a lot of speed, just kind of do my sword stuff, and then instead of just kind of rolling all that stuff, especially when being in sword mode, I'll put my switch axe away, draw it back out again, kind of repeat over and over again until I get this sucker charged. That's basically what I'm going to do. For the second switch skill, it starts off as finishing discharge. I'm sure a lot of people remember this move. It is, if we can get into it, it's this, the one that, you know, is in world. You attach to the monster if your blade is charged. In this case, it is not. I'm actually going to stick with this one, and the reason why is quite simply, I'm pretty forgetful right before hunts. I've gotten in a really good habit of getting my items, eating, all of those things, but I'm pretty 50-50 on if I play with other people or solo. And solo, this next move is awesome. It's so cool. Not even talking about damage, it does fairly decent damage. I don't think it does as much as the other move, but it's just so cool. Instead of doing your regular thing, you do this. You do your element discharge, and then you hit X, and it does that. Almost completely takes your gauge away, but it's so much quicker. It looks so cool. but it sends your teammates absolutely flying. So for that reason, I'm going to stay with the regular finishing discharge. Finally, Invincible Gambit. This is actually a really good move. Kind of sucks that we have to change this one out. It's going to be this, where you go forward, cost 1 Silk Bug. You can do all that. You can combo out of it, and you're completely invincible, hence the name during the whole thing. But this next move is just too cool to pass up, honestly. We're going to trade out the Invincible Gambit for the Soaring Wyvern Blade. Now, I'm sure a lot of people saw this in the trailer. I think it may have actually been the first switch skill that we actually kind of got to look at. Now, your blade does not have to be charged for this. It just is in this scenario. No matter what you have out, hit left trigger and X. You do a slash going up, and then whenever you're ready, hit an X, and you do a little thrust into the monster. And since I'm using power, wherever it hits, it's going to actually stay there for a second, kind of like a sticky, and then explode. And it does very good damage, and it actually will take a really quick look. It charges your blade quite a bit, especially if you hit the first hit too. So that's maybe with focus, maybe a third, maybe a little bit less, but just for 1 Silk Bug, that's super, super good. That's going to be it for the video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. This is probably my second favorite build. I will be honest. I'm really just loving Insect Glaive. Let me know down below if you guys want me to do an advanced Insect Glaive guide or anything like that. I'm really loving it. I'm finding a lot of cool stuff through other YouTubers and through just exploring the game myself. I've found Insect Glaive so far as my go-to weapon. I'm about to start working on some bow builds. I may actually stream right after this goes up. Come over and check it out and you will see pretty quickly. But that's going to be it. Subscribe, like if you guys liked it, dislike if you didn't, tell me why. Comment down below all of the usual things. Thank you so much and have a good day. I will see you in the next one.